meeting of Franklin County Commissioners for Wednesday, November 6th.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Present.
Vice Chair Harris?
Present.
Chair Waymeyer?
Present.
Commissioner Dunn? Commissioner Dickinson?
Present.
Now our pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Correspondence and organizational business, the first of which is a proclamation formally designating November 3rd to the 9th as Animal Shelter Appreciation Week. Good morning, Vanessa. We're going to read it. Anything you'd like to say?
I think when we appreciate the animal shelter, we appreciate the people that work there. And so this is just really important to my staff that we recognize this week. It's a National Animal Shelter Appreciation Week, so we're just aligning it with national. And I'm driving around all of our municipal partners. I'm getting proclamations from everyone. So it's just been a really fun week for me to do that. But this one feels extra special, so thank you for doing this.
Well, good. All right, you want to read it?
The proposed proclamation 24-9, whereas dogs and cats are an integral part of the quality of life of our community, with approximately 5,780 pet dogs and 6,314 pet cats living in Franklin County, and 89.9 million dogs and 61.9 million cats nationwide. And whereas animal shelter employees must respond to the needs of the community, keeping animals and humans safe from harm. And whereas animal shelters make communities better places to live, taking stray animals off the streets and out of harm's way. And whereas animal shelters help both animals and people in many ways by returning lost pets to their owners, educating the public, and matching homeless animals with loving new families. And whereas animal shelters receive important donations of money, goods, and volunteer time to assist in the important missions. And whereas Prairie Paws Animal Shelter reflects best shelter practices with veterinary care, enrichment, and socialization programs to provide the best possible outcome for each animal in its care. And whereas Franklin County is one of the kindest counties in America to homeless pets. Therefore, be it resolved, the Franklin County, Kansas Commission does hereby proclaim November 3rd through the 9th, 2024, to be Animal Shelter Appreciation Week. In Franklin County, Kansas, we call upon all citizens to recommit to the animals in our community and with responsible pet ownership and support of local efforts to help homeless animals.
All right.
Can we get a photo?
Happy to. We need to vote on that first. Is there anyone like to make a motion for the proclamation?
I would make a motion to approve the proclamation.
All right, is there a second from Roy? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Before you step away,
Another copy right there, Cole.
Yep, I've got a copy right here. We'll take a picture. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But before we take the picture, could I ask her a question?
Go for it.
So, I enjoy your updates for the, that you give to the city. Can you tell us a little bit about the Manhattan operation? And then also you had some pretty big news last month. You know what I'm talking about?
We paid off our mortgage.
Yes.
Yes, so exciting. So we had a balance of about $55,000 left on it, and we were lucky that we received a credit from the IRS from some employee retention credit money from COVID that was back owed to us, and we received it and decided that that's kind of money that we weren't budgeting to get. And so let's pay off the mortgage.
There you go.
So we're debt-free for the first time, I think, ever, since the whole thing started. So, yeah, and to give you an update about Manhattan, Manhattan's doing really well. It's actually generating a bit of a profit, which is ridiculous for an animal shelter. But we are investing in increasing the payroll out there to do some more fundraising. So we've just bumped up our fundraising team. Now it employs 4 people across the state of Kansas fundraising. So all of that is to try and generate more revenue and take the pressure off of taxpayer dollars, which are limited. So yeah, Manhattan's been really good for a fundraising community so far, and we hope to just boost that.
One of the things you said was you could adopt a whole lot more animals out there if you had the staff and the facility to do it, so.
Yes,
No,
it's
that'd
kind
be
of got a different problem that we have here is low population and a ginormous animal shelter. They have the other way around. They have the potential to perform a lot of adoptions in a very small facility. So we've just written a grant to increase the capacity of that facility, and if we can speed up the volume of animals through that community, it would take the pressure off of these more rural communities. So hopefully we get that money. I mean, grants are grants, you never know.
Awesome, well, that's
Fingers
good. Thank you for the update.
Using one-time COVID dollars to pay off debt and take the burden off local taxpayers, our style, so we appreciate that.
Not paying interest anymore.
That's right.
Do you want to take the picture? No, Amy's gonna take it. Amy's much better at it than. I'm not a photo person.
The best one. I'm not sure. Where do I stand?
Why does this feel like the best one?
Because it's Franklin County.
Because it's home?
It's home.
Okay, good answer. Good answer. There you go.
Awesome.
Like this?
Yes.
It looks good. All right.
Thank you so much again
Thank
for
you.
doing this.
Yeah? Where's next?
Emporia's next.
Okay. All right, we have a representative from Brightspeed here this morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I do have paper copies if anybody wants one, or we can go from there.
Do you have more than one? I would love to have a paper
Yeah.
copy, because I'm like, yeah.
Well, I have 2 hours, but I won't take it all.
Okay, good.
That was my. Anybody else need a paper copy?
Thank you.
Well, good morning. As you know, I'm with Brightspeed. My name's John Idu. I'm from Kansas City. I've been with the company over 35 years, pretty much most of it in state regulatory, state governmental affairs, that type of thing. But I appreciate.
Microphone up for just a little bit.
Yeah, so I definitely appreciate the opportunity to introduce the new Brightspeed. Before Brightspeed, we were known as CenturyLink. Before that, we were known as Embark, going back to Sprint, and then United Telephone of Kansas. That's kind of our history. And if I can figure out how to work this. Just a quick 30-second commercial on Brightspeed. We were formed in 2022, just 2 years ago. CenturyLink at the time operated in 37 states, and they realized real quickly that they, after the pandemic, absolutely had to increase fiber investment and deployment to meet the needs of the public. They couldn't do that in 37 states all at once. They took 20 states, including Kansas, sold it to a private equity firm called Apollo Funds, and they created what is now Brightspeed. So we like to say we're a brand-new 150-year-old company. But we have been operating in Kansas since 1909. I've been around a big chunk of that, 35 years. And this is a slide here specific to Kansas. As you can see from the upper right-hand corner, those orange areas there, that's where we operate. We're in 119 communities throughout the state, offering voice and 911 services, and also copper-based broadband services. Those blue squiggly lines on that map are the congressional districts, so you can kind of get a perspective of where we are. The map on the bottom right is Franklin County. I didn't bring my glasses, so I'm gonna have to,
So you have some extra paper with you?
yeah.
You might as well just pass them all out if you got them.
Anybody else?
Might as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
The map at the bottom, that comes from the Kansas Corporation Commission. We are regulated by the KCC. That shows Franklin County. Our areas that we serve as the incumbent legacy provider, or the ILEC, are in green. And you can see we pretty much surround the Franklin County. We do not have Ottawa. That's AT&T. Williamsburg is also AT&T. But we have all the areas immediately around it. We are in the process, Brightspeed, we do have $3.7 billion in funding from our owners, which is, like I said, Apollo funds. And their plan is to take that money and have us invest and pass 4 million homes in our 37 states with fiber to the prim. And that is what we have been doing. Those cities that you see there listed are either already up and running or construction is underway. So we have about 15 that we have already turned up. We have a total of 39 communities targeted between now and into 2025. So that's just a brief snapshot of Brightspeed in Kansas, specific to Franklin County on that next slide, slide 4. We have announced, publicly announced a fiber build for Wellsville. That's going to be 100% internally financed with no state or federal subsidies. We're going to pass, publicly we said 964 premises. We think it's going to, once the construction crews get out there, they usually add several dozen, so it's going to be close to 1,000. And that is underway. Pre-construction activity, engineering is done. I believe we are in the permitting phase. Since we've been here for 109 years, we know how to do permits through the county, through the city, through KDOT. I don't think there's any core permits that we need for this part of the state, but we have all those railroads. That's the other big one that we have to get permits for. So we already have the ability and the internal infrastructure to do those type of things. This next page, on page 5, one of the reasons I wanted to, I'm out and about getting the opportunity to speak for many county commissioner meetings. I wanted to talk to you briefly about the federal BEAD program. It is a massive undertaking by the federal government. It was authorized several years ago under the Infrastructure and Jobs Act, and it allocated $42 billion to the states to subsidize fiber deployment to unserved and underserved areas. Kansas received $450 million of that money, and over the last couple of years, they've been setting up the rules, and the big thing they've been doing is identifying the unserved and underserved areas in the state. What you don't want to do with any type of federal grant money is to overbuild private investment. I mean, clearly you wouldn't want to go into Johnson County and give them a fourth provider. That's not a good use of taxpayer money. But identifying the unserved and underserved areas has been a challenge, especially since that's never dynamic. Companies like us, companies like the cable companies, AT&Ts, they're constantly expanding their network. So trying to find a way to capture just the unserved and underserved has been a challenge. But that process was finalized last month. The Kansas Office of Broadband Development, which is under the Department of Commerce, released 403 project areas. Each project area has about 130 locations. And that's what companies like us and the cable companies and fiber competitors, they have an opportunity to come in and put a bid on those particular projects. And if they win that project, they must serve all 130 or so locations that were identified as unserved and underserved. They cannot pick and choose, and they must do it with speeds of up to 100 meg. Fiber to the prim is strongly encouraged, and that is all going to be managed by the, overseen by the Kansas Broadband Office.
Price caps?
Sorry?
Price caps, is the price regulated?
There is some price regulations. Anybody that wins must offer a low-income plan of $30. And there's some qualifications required for that. And they must offer at least a basic bundle or a basic package of less than $60. Now, specific to And if we were to put in an application, we must commit at least 25% of our own dollars. We could request up to a 75% match from the federal government. If we request a 50-50, we get higher points on our application, and that's going to be looked more favorably. If you look on slide 5 here, these are some of the project areas identified in and around Franklin County in our service territory. I didn't put the ones for AT&T up here. This is the ones that are in our service territory. And you can see there's several of them. Actually, there's 2. There's one in each corner. We are currently in the process of evaluating this, doing the engineering work to see if we want to pursue an application in Franklin County. Hopefully, if we don't, then somebody else will, because the objective of the money and the objective of the Kansas Broadband Office is to make sure every unserved and underserved location in Kansas is eventually served with fiber. Like I said, this just came out last month. We're still running the numbers. The timing of this is the application window is now open. So anybody that can go in and submit an application for these projects, and the deadline to do so is December 5th. So we've got to determine that pretty quickly. And if we do, I will let you know one way or the other privately, because this is federal bidding procedures. We're in a quiet period. There's certain things we can and cannot say publicly, and we cannot announce whether or not we're going to pursue or not pursue projects, because that could taint the competitive bidding process. This right here is all public information. Everybody knows that we're looking at it, and so I'm not giving you any secrets. But that's kind of the overview of the upcoming BEAD opportunity, not only for us as a provider, but for you all as a county. And if you want to see the other projects in Franklin County, I tried to get my mapping people to put them on these maps, and we're in 20 states, so that was a low priority. But the Kansas Broadband Office has a very easy KMZ file that you click on, and if you have Google Earth, it just pops up, and you can kind of see the different projects in and around Franklin County.
Is there anything about, well, I guess you're not the legacy carrier in that area, or either of those areas, are you?
Which area?
Either of the 2 areas you've got pointed out.
We are the legacy carrier there. We're not the legacy carrier right here on Ottawa. If you go back to that map on the other page, that's,
You were the legacy around Rantoul, weren't you?
I'm sorry, you?
68 Highway, Rantoul?
Yeah.
But not Lane or Pomona.
No, that's a different, that's Rantoul, I don't know who that is. That's a rural RLAC.
Oh, that's Modile or Mocandile?
Is it Mocandile? I should have looked that up beforehand,
You're
but
in yellow.
yeah.
Yellow screen? Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything about being legacy carrier that makes you uniquely able to go after these projects, or?
I can tell you, I'll say, yeah. I mean, number one, we've been around for 109 years. We are the carrier of last resort. We are going to be around for the next 109 years, whatever.
But I mean, like
but-
QuickCom went into Wellsville area, didn't they?
Sorry, what?
QuickCom went into Wellsville.
Yes.
Yeah,
And we're,
built that out.
we're overbuilding them, or they overbuilt us, and they were there first, and we're going to go there in 2025. We still have the carrier of last resort obligations. We still have to provide voice services. Some of these other companies do not. Our deployment strategy is aerial. We will go aerial each and every place we can, and only go underground where we absolutely must. Since we've been around for so long, we already have our poles. We're already on electric poles. We already have the infrastructure with our copper network hanging on those poles. And so our deployment strategy, which reduces our cost and improves our timeline, both factors in the BEAD application, we simply overlash to our copper network. What that is, basically, from me, a non-engineer, we zip tie. We zip tie our fiber to our copper, and just, we get all the permits and check with the electric company if we're on their poles. But it's all legit. It's national electrical standard compliant, those type of things. So that does give us a little bit of a cost and time advantage just because of that factor. The next page, you were talking about prices. This is just, I'm not going to go on this, you have it. These are the 4 packages that we currently offer. Our most expensive is the 2 gig at $99. And these are asymmetrical, meaning 2 gig upload and 2 gig download. That's one of the big things with between fiber and copper-based. Copper-based was asymmetrical. We offer a gig package at $75. We do offer our basic $65 for 500 meg, and our cheapest package, which would be compliant with the BEAD program, our 200 meg package is $49 a month. And that includes all the equipment fees. There's no contract required. These are not introductory prices. I'm trying to think. There's no minimum time commitment. Installation, there's 2 choices. You can do a self-install, which 95% of our customers are doing that, and that's free. We give you the equipment, you plug it in, and just follow the on-screen prompts. Or we can roll a truck, and if we do have to roll a truck, we're happy to do so, but that's a $99 fee. I think the next page, simplified billing is on the next page. Like I said, we don't charge hidden fees. Our prices include the equipment fees. So when you're looking at comparing us to different providers that you may have options, or if other people are coming to explain BEAD before you all, a lot of them will have like a $40 fee and say they're cheaper, but then they may tack on $15. I've seen as high as $25 a month mandatory equipment fee at the back of the bill. And so we put it all up front. It's easier for the customer, and quite honestly, it's easier for us. It reduces the number of calls to our call center, so it's kind of a win-win-win. This is an actual Kansas bill. You can kind of see it there. Fiber internet, $70. Sales tax, $0. Total, $70. Can't get any simpler than that. We do have a couple of low-income or internet affordability programs. The one that's current right now is the FCC program. It gives you a $9.95 discount. There used to be what they call the Affordable Connectivity Program. We do have some customers on that. It was a federal program that was implemented several years ago with that Infrastructure and Jobs Act. They gave the FCC $6 billion to give consumers a $30 credit. And they also came up with a eligibility criteria and a database for us that we could ping to see if somebody was eligible. We signed up a lot of customers, and in addition to the $30 that they got from the federal government, we also gave them a $30 credit. So if you combine those at $60, you could get our $49 package for free. You can get our 500 meg package for only $5 a month. The challenges we have now is in April and May, the FCC ran out of money. Congress has not yet re-upped that program. We are still offering, so that $30 federal discount went away. We are still offering those consumers that signed up our $30 discount, but we are not in a position to take on new customers because we have no way to validate the eligibility for those programs. So the FCC is working on that to turn that database back on for things like us that we want to continue it on our own, and BEAD is going to require it. So if we do get a BEAD award, we absolutely will be offering that minimum $30. We probably will offer it for $0 if we can get that database up and running. So that was an awful lot of information. I know you probably have some questions because I've been talking, but I just wanted, like I said, give you an update of where we are. I'm sorry, I should have flipped that. Of where we are with our broadband plans for Franklin County, not only what we're doing on our own up in Wellsville, but some of the things that we are looking at to benefit other parts of our service territory in Franklin County. And yeah, I know between us and AT&T, and I think we cover most of the territory. So, is there any questions I can answer for you? And
Looks like there's overlap of services from these companies that are putting in fiber. Is there some way to reduce that overlap?
no, I mean, back in '96, all the competitive boundaries kind of went away, and competition is, we're allowed to go into AT&T's territory. AT&T is allowed to come into our territory. Other providers were able to come in, and we face competition all over the place. One of the factors, though, with competition, they're only going to go where they can make a business case, which pretty much limits it to like the city limits. They don't really get out in the county areas, which is where this BEAD application is intended to benefit. And like I said at the opening remarks, or at least for the BEAD discussion, you know, what providers like us, and actually everybody, it's in the public interest, not to use federal money or state money to go into places that already have service. So you won't overlap another provider using federal funds or state funds, but yeah, companies are free to put in a second network, a third, fourth network. I know where my mom used to live in Johnson County there. She had 4 strands of fiber running in front of her street. Good for the consumers, but I understand, you kind of wish you can.
Some of those dollars would go out where you can't, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you get awarded, so like out by Pomona, Centropolis, are you putting those lines in the ground or not? Or is that still,
Our deployment would be aerial. You know, we have our central office there that we already have. That's where all the copper lines come into. We already have fiber. We already have fiber feeding all of our central offices in our exchanges. We've had that since 2003, 2004, and that's how we carry all the internet traffic back, and that's all underground. But from the central office out through the towns and to the customer premise, we will be going aerial.
but you already covered that part of the county, supposedly. So what are you going to do different that you aren't already doing?
It's going to be with fiber.
It's copper now.
It's copper-based now,
Okay.
and
Ask today, or do you anticipate one coming?
that's a good question, thank you. There are several different grant initiatives out there. One you might have heard about is this, on the state side, the BAG does require a community co-investment of some sort. That's problematic. We've worked through that with some of the counties to do in kind rather than a financial contribution. With BEAD, there is no community co-investment required. It will either be paid for by the provider or the federal money. If we do go forward, of course, we'd welcome a letter of support, but that would be it. That would be the only, no financial request or anything like that.
Well, we need to get moving on with our meeting. Appreciate you coming in.
All right, and if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. And like I said, I'm just in Kansas City. I'm very accessible, and I do love coming out and getting away from the
Have
office. So.
Information on how to contact you? I didn't see it on.
Oh, okay. I have some cards.
I have your contact information.
Right?
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. No public comment today, all right? Consent agenda today includes meeting minutes from October 30th and claim vouchers in the amount of $1,929,066.86. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson? Chair Baymeyer?
Yes, first item is continuation of conversation. We need to look at purchasing a truck for maintenance department. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yeah, so did some looking around, trying to find a vehicle, a truck to replace the one that we spoke about a few weeks ago. I did find two options, both happen to be 2021 F-150s. One from Olathe Ford, it's $28,650, and then the other one is here locally at the Bob Allen Ford for $28,849. The one that's here in town, it does have a few more options that would be beneficial to us. The plan is to use, this will be the truck that we're going to use to haul our snow removal equipment around town when the snow starts flying. The one at Bob Allen has, heated mirrors and things like that, so we can get that thing started and warm it up while we're getting all of our equipment ready to go, and we can hit the ground running a little bit quicker than waiting for things to thaw out, since this will be sitting outside, so,
Pretty much the same price.
yeah.
Is that all right with everyone? Purchase the Bob Allen Ford F-150 in the amount of $28,849.
Are they similar in mileage?
They're 4,000 miles apart from each other.
Yes, I'm good with it.
Right. Anyone like to make a motion to approve it?
Make the motion to approve the vehicle at Bob Allen.
Second?
Second.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson? Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Chair Baymeyer?
Yes. Second item of business, we need to make some room in our pay grades. Morning.
Good morning. So you guys have been very generous the last few years in approving several pay increases for different departments. You guys are continuing that for 2025. That puts us, several of our tenured employees, at hitting that max pay rate for their pay grade. And so we're proposing a 20% increase to all max pay rates for all pay grades, so that we can continue to give consistent raises to employees who've been here for a long time.
Room for upward growth.
Yes.
Any questions for Amy? Is there a motion to approve a 20% increase to the maximum pay rate of all pay grades for county employees?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson? Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Chair Baymeyer?
Yes. Thank you. All right, our third item of business is in the rezoning application. Good morning, Pat.
Morning, Commission. Okay, to start off, we are looking at application 2409-0020. This is at 3320 Oregon Road. The applicant is requesting to change one single acre back to the parent tract. There used to be a schoolhouse on that tract, so it was dedicated to that schoolhouse. It's since been, demolished on its own accord. We're basically rezoning this from R3A to A1. The lot is currently 40.55 acres and will then be 41.55 acres. Both staff and planning commission recommend approval without really any discussion.
Cleans it up. All right, any questions for Pat? This is rezoning application 2409-0020. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Dickinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
I actually went to school at that school, so,
Really?
Seriously.
Cole School,
Oh, my.
was the name of it. Yeah.
Demolished.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Chair Baymeyer?
Yes. All right, next item of business is consider accepting KDOT's functional classification of our county roads. Any major changes to note?
No, none whatsoever.
None at all. All right. Well, is there a motion to pass a resolution and accept continued functional classification of our county roads?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sotomayor?
Yeah.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson?
Yeah.
Chair Waymire?
Yes.
Let me jump
All right,
in there.
another rezoning applications, our fifth item.
Yes, this is 2408-0018. The location is, or commonly known as 4892 K33, location about a quarter mile north of Wellsville. The applicant is requesting to take the homestead of 5 acres off the 78-acre parcel. The applicant's family members have since been removed from the house and moved into assisted living and no longer live there. They would like to sell the house as to not let it just falter as they don't live in the area. And they will retain the farmstead itself. Water and sewer are already established, and staff recommends approval, as did the planning commission, with no real discussion.
Separating the homestead from the crop ground, nice clean lines. Any questions for Pat? This is rezoning application 2408-0018. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Second.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson?
Yeah.
Commissioner Sotomayor?
Yeah.
Chair Waymire?
Yes. And our final rezoning application.
2406-0012. This will be coming in front of you again, as it is going to be a replat of a small subdivision, if approved here. Located, 1770 Louisiana, located 3 1/4 miles southwest of Ottawa. The applicant is requesting to divide the parcel of approximately 120 acres into 4 separate tracts. The splits basically are 30 acres of A2, another tract at 56 acres to A1. The one with the residence would be about 6.90 acres to RE, and then another 23 acres to A2. The purpose of these splits is to keep the tillable land together, the grazable land together, and then the house as its own. The tillable land does split some of the grazing land with a pond apart from the northern portion of grazing land. This all is to be sold. Again, another instance of the family has been removed or left the house, and they're utilizing this to fund their assisted living situations. The purpose of breaking it into these sections as well is to make it more applicable to certain farmers that may want to buy the tillable land but not the pasture, and vice versa. And then somebody will ultimately own the house. Discussion was basically that it makes sense how they followed the fence lines, and that the intention for selling it is apparent. There was not any comment against the
They all able to get water, or those tracts, bigger ones, agriculture
typically,
and
the only
don't
one
have
that
to?
required was the 6 acres, and it's already got it with the house and sewage. And then staff and planning commission both unanimously recommended approval.
Got you. Questions for Pat? It's all cut up, but it does follow functions of the ground.
And again, you will see it one more time.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve rezoning application 2406-0012?
Motion.
Second.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson?
Yeah.
Commissioner Sotomayor?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Chair Waymire?
Yes, all right. Thank you. We've got staff reports. I may need to slide down the hall to a meeting real quick, but
Okay, a couple of things real quick. First, really appreciate the 5 of you increasing those maximum pay rates. That's actually something that the last time we did that, I had a lot of feedback from our employees demonstrating gratitude for that. It doesn't add an immediate big cost, but it is consequential in that it helps our folks out with their retirement. So appreciate you doing that. Would also remind you that, and we'll talk about this extensively next spring during our budget process, but we still, we increased pay rates for Public Works and the Sheriff's Office as part of the '25 budget. As part of the 26 budget, we have the rest of the organization that we intend on proposing increases for as well to try and keep it equitable. We just thought it was more fiscally responsible in this climate to split that up into 2 separate years. So just something I'm going to periodically keep on your radar. Second thing, Crestview, still working on that. As you know, we've discussed selling that. There are a couple of conflicting statutes in terms of procedure for counties to sell their buildings. I'm still working through that to make sure that we do it the appropriate way. One thing I want to keep your mind on, though, and it's not imminent, but we still have that building right there by Crestview that the Historical Society has. We're going to need to figure out arrangements for them at some point. So I've talked with Diane over there. She's been in the loop. We'll keep her in the loop, but just as you have time, you might mull over what I know historically we've discussed potentially placing a building out by the visitor center. We have options there, but just something to think about. So that's all I have, Rod. Thanks.
Good. Pat, you got any more? Sheriff?
Morning. I do have a couple different things. First off, I would like to echo what Derek said and say thank you for raising the top of the pay scale. That does mean a lot to our staff, even those that it doesn't impact right away. The fact that they know that you're looking long-term out for their best interest, it's noticed and appreciated. So I wanted to thank you publicly for that as well. And then I have 2 specific things that I'd like to talk about, and that one is that we were selected to receive a $225,000 grant. It was a non-competitive grant. They don't call them earmarks anymore, but that's kind of what it was. Came from Senator Moran's office, so that we can get the body scanners and some and X-ray machines and things like that for our jail and court security. So that we're in the process of jumping through all the hoops we have to get those dollars, but those have been awarded to us. And there was no match on our end. The money that the grant that we received on that not only pays for the equipment, but I believe it pays for the licensing fees and all that. I think it's for 5 years on that. We also recently had received some additional grant money from KDHE for the jail. Originally, we had a grant that paid for half of a washer and dryer, and we paid for the other half of that. And we received an additional grant that's going to cover the entire thing. And then also in all of our single man cells, we have monitors in there now that basically they can track their respirations, their heart rate, the temperatures, all of those things. And it makes it for a much safer, another way for us to monitor people. So if we have anyone on any like medical watch and things like that, it's a very helpful thing. Grant paid for all of that as well. So so those are good things. The last thing that I have is that you may know that many years ago we had a partnership with Ransom. They had a sexual assault nurse examiner program. So for victims of sexual assault or rape, they could go out there and they had specially trained staff. That had gone away many years ago. It's been a topic at our monthly meeting with the law enforcement and county attorney, and we've been meeting with different people throughout the time. But I'm happy to announce that Advent is partnering with the state on the program, and we're hosting the informational meeting on it today in our office for area law enforcement. And the program is back up and running, and it'll be active, I believe, just at the beginning of December. So it's the importance of this program is that without having those specific medically trained people at our hospital, they would lots of times send them up to the city, and a lot of times people just wouldn't go. And it's frustrating as an investigator not to get the evidence part, but the important thing is they need to get the care that they, and the treatment that they need. So this is a way for the victims of those type of crimes to receive the treatment and care that they need. They can do that also anonymously. So we don't have to be involved, but they are going to be able to get the care for that. And that's a program that is funded partially, I believe, by Advent, but the state has a big part of that. So we're happy to have that back in our community. And it's just another partnership that we have between our local government and our private entities as well. So we think it's going to be a good thing for the community. So with that, that's all I have, and I'll answer any questions you may have for me.
I trained as a accountant. Well, they always had somebody that would, when it's called, was the Saints Art program back then. And
Correct, yeah.
and it wasn't just that day, it was also, these are the services, if you need to talk to somebody, or if you need this or that, you would get all that information also. So it wasn't just,
Yes.
just the rape kit, it was everything else that was involved with it. So I'm really happy that that's happening again.
And we can give the same list of resources that are available, but they may not receive that as well from us as they do from that nurse that's taking care of them. So they do get more plugged in, you're correct.
That's very awesome, very cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff?
Yeah, just a few things, real briefly. Old 50, the work with Kilo and Bartlett West is completed. We still have some of our own work to do out there. The weather conditions here lately, which we've needed the rain, have slowed us down quite a bit to get some of the off-road right-of-way work done. There are a few locations on the shoulder, especially where the super curves were built up and they added a minimal rock, that if you pull off on that right now, with the clay that they have underneath it, it's very easy to get stuck. Until we have a freeze and thaw and add some rock to the side, it's going to be that way. So you might pay attention when you pull off out there. Mostly it's where the curves are at on the outside slope. So I can't address it until it's dry enough for us to get on it, but that is just part of a new process of building a road. We will get that firmed up and back, but that is something people have been hollering at us about a little bit. Secondly, we've shifted gears, and I'm on the Texas Road Bridge now project south of Sand Creek. The letting on that will be in February. I'm trying to acquire some road right-of-way, and Justin's helping me getting some utilities relocated, but that seems to be on schedule for February. If you recall, we had some issues with the railroad detour a few weeks ago at Richter. We've accumulated the cost of the county, and I'm reaching out to the railroad, to BNSF right now, and trying to reacquire about $5,000 that we spent in hauling water that week and the labor costs of that. So I'll keep you posted, but that may be a while when you work with the railroad. Lastly, I guess, is we do have the items listed for sale on Galva Roads. I calculated quickly while the sheriff was speaking. I think we're right around $20,000 that we've accumulated thus far on the auction. I believe on all the items, it ends on the 12th of this month. So if you want to get on Galva Roads and anything you want to bid for locally, we would appreciate the competition.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, do we got a canvas sometime?
Yeah.
Canvas is Wednesday, next Wednesday,
Wednesday?
right after this meeting.
Okay, you weren't here last week.
Commissioner?
Yeah, I did go up to Wellsville meeting the other night. If you've been up there lately since we did our ribbon cutting for the ambulance, the housing across the way is about doubled since we was up there
Oh, wow.
the other day. And the main part of the meeting was two projects that one, Atterbury Homes has purchased 23 lots and getting ready to do, don't know how quick they'll develop them, but they've got the okay to go forward with 23 lots there in Wellsville. Then there was another gentleman, I didn't catch quite all of it. I know it pertains to one city block, but I don't know how many houses or how much of it he's doing, but I know there's a lot of conversation.
Is the Atterbury ones, are those single family?
Now, so there's gonna be some, oh yeah, Atterbury homes, yeah.
There can be some,
But there's gonna be still some singles over there. It won't all be multi
okay.
homes over across from the hamlet eventually. That's all I got.
Yeah, this weekend, Saturday, is gonna have the big Veterans Day Parade here in Ottawa. I understand there's green lights down at the courthouse now at night. They don't represent Halloween or something like that. They're to recognize veterans. KC had an initiative called Operation Green Light, where you, to recognize veterans, you could shine green lights on your courthouse. And thanks to, well, Brandon's not here right now. Thank Brandon and Derek for working that out for that. So big parade Saturday, and that's all I have.
Actually, Roy didn't add that he was at the Capitol on Friday for that ribbon cutting, or for the proclamation signing.
Yeah, I was up at the Capitol about a week ago for the signing with the KAC initiative for Operation Green Light with 10 other veterans. We got to go in see the governor, shake her hand, and take a picture to get her support to sign the proclamation for recognizing veterans for the week of November 4th through Veterans Day on November 11th.
Last Wednesday, I had a KAC board meeting. Basically, they're looking forward to the conference in December. I also had a Heartland Works CEOB meeting. There's going to be some pretty good changes in our area, and that will be discussed this afternoon with the entire workforce, Heartland Work, both boards of Heartland Works. Friday, I got to attend the Road and Bridge retirement. That was pretty awesome. Anytime I get a chance to hang with those guys, that's pretty special. Those are some of my favorite people out there, and they know how to have a good time, and enjoyed that time. Chamber Coffee on Friday was Rock Creek of Ottawa. They now have they have a clinic within their facility for people that are in Rock Creek, but it also is an outpatient clinic, and so it is available for anybody in the community that if you need whatever you need, if you need some help with all kinds of things, they have available there. And then Monday night was the Princeton City Council meeting. Pat was there. They were talking about him doing inspections for their new housing development, and it sounded like that was a good exchange of information there. I think we're all on the same page, just a matter of getting it all in writing, and things are already moving forward there, so it was none too soon to get all that discussion done. So they very much appreciate the county doing that, because I'm not sure what they would have done if we wouldn't have agreed to that. There was also a chamber after hours and ribbon cutting on Monday night for Sweet and Salty Artifacts. Basically, it's several different individuals who have great ideas, but not enough to fill a whole space, and so they've combined to fill a space down there, and it's pretty cool. If you get a chance, just jump down there and do all your Christmas shopping down there. Keep it local. And then just a shout out to all of our election office and all of the workers at all of our election locations. It was, and I kept thinking, I'm going to see something on my phone, and somewhere somebody is going to have done something at an election office. And I thought, considering the election that we had, it was pretty dang cool the way we got through it, and the results got in, and whether you like who it was or not, at least we can move forward now and see where we go. And that's what I got.
I don't have anything. Do I have a motion? Second. Get her done.